Welcome back guys. Optiscaler Mod now supports XeSS frame generation. In this video I'll be showing you how to use the mod in Cyberpunk 2077, Star Wars Jedi Survivor and Ghost of Tsushima, running on my SteamDeck that comes with Linux based SteamOS. All of these games support Streamline version, newer than version 2. This means we can use DLSSG via Streamline as the frame generation source and set XeSS frame generation as the frame generation output. This will unlock the in-game DLSS frame generation setting. After enabling that setting, we just need to enable XeSS frame generation from Optiscaler Mod menu. This will also enable XeSS low latency mode and it should work on Linux. I tried using XeLL's FPS cap in Cyberpunk, did work. On Windows, we can just highlight a game Streamline files to show their version. This method does not work on Linux. So in order to obtain this information, you need to either search on the internet or use the hit and trial method. Use DLSSG via Streamline as the FG source and see if it works or not. I'll kick things off with Cyberpunk. This game officially supports XeSS frame generation. You just need to update the in-game XeSS files to the latest one in order to access the in-game XeSS frame generation setting on SteamDeck. But the thing is, in-game XeSS subscaler produces some noticeable texture shimmering in the background environment. Using XeSS subscaler via Optiscaler Mod considerably reduces this texture shimmering, but it's slightly more demanding on the hardware as well. If you're using Optiscaler Mod to enable XeSS subscaler, then why not just use Optiscaler's XeSS frame generation feature as well. I'll show you the mod setup process. The latest test build of Optiscaler version 0.9 preview 1 supports XeSS frame generation. You can download this build from Optiscaler's Discord server. Give its link in the description. Just click on the .7z link here. This is SteamOS running in desktop mode. Just open Optiscaler Mod menu, extract the contents, click on extract, click on extract here, wait for the extraction process to complete. There you go. You can close this archive window, open the extracted folder. Now just change the name of optiscaler.dll file to dxgi.dll, rename. Just copy the highlighted files. First we have Optiscaler files, optiscaler.ini, dxgi.dll. Then we have XeSS files, libxess_fg corresponds to XeSS frame generation, libxess, XeSS upscaler, libxell corresponds to XeSS low latency mode. DX11 version of XeSS is not required. Only Intel Arc based GPUs support XeSS upscaler natively in DirectX 11 mode. Also copy fake nvapi.ini and fake nvapi.dll files. We are going to replace the in-game reflex implementation with XeSS low latency mode. Forgot about AMD's Fidelity FX DX12 file. Includes FSR 3.1 upscaler and frame generation. Right click, copy. Just open the game's install directory. It's the Steam version of the game. Select the game in your Steam library, right click, manage, click on browse local files. Open bin folder, open x64 folder, paste everything here. Yeah, these are the Streamline files, sl.dll. Highlighting them will not show their version on Linux. Paste 8 items, apply to all, overwrite. XeSS upscaler and frame generation related files were already present. Don't need to add any launch argument to the game. Properties, blank, compatibility. I'm using G Proton version 10-12 as the compatibility layer. Switch to SteamOS gaming mode. Connected my FlyDigi Vader 4 Pro controller to SteamDeck via Bluetooth mode. X input controller. I have the LCD variant of SteamDeck. Its display supports up to 60Hz refresh rate. Performance QM settings, overlay level set to 3. Disable SteamOS VSync by enabling disable frame limit and allow tearing settings. And that's it. Show you the in-game settings now. Preset set to low. Resolution scaling set to DLSS. This means Optiscaler Mod is working. Super resolution preset transformer does not matter. Using the balance preset of DLSS upscaler, sharpness level 0.2 up to you. Frame generation, no access to DLSS. See. Disable post-processing effects like film grain, chromatic aberration, depth of field, lens flare, motion blur. Scroll down, low to medium settings. You need to set the display mode to borderless in order to use XeSS frame generation. Window mode, window borderless. VSync is off. No FPS cap applied from here. We are in. Open Optiscaler menu by pressing the insert keyboard key. Increase its size. Click on the drop down bar next to menu UI scale. Set the value to 1.1. Just make sure XeSS upscaler is selected from this drop down bar. Version of the upscaler. Input. In-game DLSS upscaler. DXVK spoofing is off. Auto exposure setting is on. Frame generation disabled for the time being. Click on save आना है. This way mod settings won't get reset after restarting the game. Standing right outside V's apartment building in Little China. Yeah, here FPS is close to 40. Look at that CPU load. 83 to 92%. Animation quality, yeah, it's looking a bit jarring. Image quality is looking decent. Check out the leaves of the tree, not producing texture shimmering effect. FSR upscaler produces ugly shimmering around the leaves. Fine textures. Mesh textures. Okay, now I'll enable XeSS frame generation. Don't pause the game, my bad. Open Optiscaler menu. Click on the drop down bar next to FG source. Select DLSSG via Streamline as the option. Now click on the drop down bar next to FG output. From here select XCFG. You need to click on save INI. Close. Restart the game. This will unlock the in-game DLSS frame generation setting. Restarting. Go to graphics settings. From here just set frame generation to DLSS frame generation. Setting got unlocked. Apply. Open performance VM settings. From here just enable manual GPU clock speed setting and set the speed to 1400 MHz. Index CPU draws up to 15 watts of power. This power is shared between the CPU and the GPU. If CPU draws too much of power, GPU's performance tanks and vice versa. You need to restart the game after enabling DLSS frame generation. Here we are in. Just open Optiscaler menu and check this setting active under frame generation XCFG. This will enable XeSS frame generation. Current Streamline FG state, yeah, it's on. You can use XeSS frame generation's debug view to verify that it's working. You will see these sidebars, pink or purple in color, flickering. If XeSS frame gen is not working, these sidebars won't show up at all. Disable debug view. Save INI. Close. Here you can see current method. It's set to XCLL under frame rate. I'll just use this FPS limit, see if it's working or not. 32. Yeah, it's working. Remove the FPS limit, apply. Save INI. Alright. Check out the real world input delay. You can observe the added amount of smoothness. Latency increased as well. Smoothing effect is very consistent. Does not get disabled during fast visual motion. Latency can be a problem. It's recommended to enable auto aim setting from the in-game settings. Otherwise you will have a hard time during combat. See, aim is snapping. I have enabled auto aim. Time to steal the vehicle. No ghosting is produced around a fast moving vehicle's bumper when using XeSS frame generation. Nukem 9's mod FSR frame, Nukem 9's mod FSR frame generation produces this ghosting. Need to use some other mods to fix it. Okay, I'll take a shortcut. Go through here. 47 to 50 FPS, gaining some speed. Action going on. See, no ghosting. Shadow is also not flickering. Game's interface, it's not flickering. Can be some flickering around the shadow. It may be due to the low base FPS. Now I'll test the game in Dogtown. Now I'm in Dogtown. This area is exclusive to Phantom Liberty expansion, more demanding than the base version of Cyberpunk. Just wanted to highlight a frame generation related artifact. Just observe the iron sights here of my gun. During fast visual motion, the iron sight flickers. See, some ghosting is produced. The flickering intensity is more aggressive in the case of the official in-game FSR frame generation. I'll just ride my bike here. Latency is quite high, I'll be honest. It's expected. Here the base FPS often drops below 30 on SteamDeck. I'm just looking for my vehicle. There it is, my bad. Running around, FPS is close to 50. What just happened? I got knocked over by someone. What is going on? Get on my bike. Some stuttering will occur now. Yeah, check out the real world input delay. Here shadow is not flickering, that's good to see. Bright sunny day. In this particular area is very heavy, 40 to 45. I am surprised that XeSS frame gen smoothing effect is still working when the base FPS is below 30. Oh my god, what happened here? Lot of NPCs start fighting among themselves. Let me just disable XeSS frame gen. You'll get an idea about the base performance. Open Optiscaler menu, uncheck active, off. Now check out the animation quality. See how choppy it is. Oh my god. 25 to 30 FPS. This is the real performance. Now I'll test the next game. Now I'll show you Optiscaler Mod setup in Ghost of Tsushima. It's the exact same setup. Just open the extracted Optiscaler Mod folder. Copy the highlighted files. Same files that we used in Cyberpunk. Already changed the name of optiscaler.dll file to dxgi.dll. Copy. Need to paste the mod files in the game's install directory. Select the game in your Steam library, right click, manage, click on browse local files. Paste everything here. Apply to all override. Game officially supports FSR 3.1. Now we just need to add a launch argument to the game. Select the game in your Steam library, click on the settings cog here, click on properties, click on general under launch options, add this line of text, SteamDeck equal to 0 space percentage command percentage. This will unlock the in-game DLSS frame generation setting after setting FG source to DLSSG via Streamline using G Proton version 10-12 as the compatibility layer. Switch to SteamOS gaming mode. Launch the game. With Optiscaler Mod install, you'll see this error message at startup. No installed graphics card has been detected. Click on OK. OK again. DXVK spoofing work. Text is very small here. Display mode, just set it to full screen. It's not exclusive full screen. It's actually borderless full screen. 800p resolution. VSync is off. Upscaler, yeah, set it to DLSS using its quality preset. Reflex enabled, optional. Frame generation disabled for the time being. Show you the base game performance first. Using the low graphics preset. Post processing effects disabled. Bloom vignette. Motion blur slider set to nil. Yeah, jump into the game. We are in. Open Optiscaler menu. From this drop down bar, make sure XeSS upscaler is selected. Version is shown here. Input DLSS. DXVK spoofing is on. Auto export setting is on. Frame generation disabled for the time being. Click on save and close. Here I am standing nearby the golden temple. In this game, guys, XeSS upscaler causes our bowstring to flicker. Some ghosting is produced during fast visual motion. It's very difficult to show this ghosting on deck small display. The thing is, after enable frame generation, this ghosting effect will become more noticeable. Yeah, I am seeing that ghosting effect. Don't think my mobile phone will be able to capture it. Okay, I'll just run around. FPS is within a range of 33 to 37. Animation quality is looking choppy. Lot of NPCs here. Good for testing the game. Stays close to 35. Okay, I'll just enable XeSS frame generation now. Back to the starting point. Open Optiscaler Mod menu. Click on the drop down bar next to FG source. Select DLSSG via Streamline as the option. Click on the drop down bar next to FG output and select XeFG as the option. Click on save and close. Restart the game. Restarting. Now go to display settings. From here enable DLSS frame generation. Frame generation set to DLSSG. Apply. Performance game settings. Enable manual GPU clock speed settings. Set the speed to 1400 MHz. Jump into the game. Here we are in. Open Optiscaler menu and just check this setting active under frame generation XeFG. Current Streamline frame generation state, yeah, it's on. You can verify this by using debug view. Check it. You will see these purple sidebars flickering. Disable the debug view. Click on save and close. Let's check out the performance. Yeah, I can observe the added amount of smoothness, but also observing a very high latency. Not a big jump in performance. Base FPS was around 35. After enabling XeSS frame gen, increased to around 47. Just observe the bowstring. Yeah, I'm observing some ghosting. See around the bowstring here during fast visual motion. There's the ghosting effect. Okay, I'll just leave this place. This area is actually very demanding. In the open world areas, we'll be getting better performance than this. Should be the exit. Smoothing effect is very consistent, does not get disabled during fast visual motion. Now we are outside. Here FPS increased to around 55. Latency improved as well. The concept is simple: higher the base FPS, lower the latency, more responsive the controls. Close to 60 FPS here. Beautiful visuals. Okay, now I'll test the next game. Now I'll show you how to install Optiscaler Mod in Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Personally, I do not recommend playing this game on SteamDeck. It has performance issues, but you can use this guide on more powerful Linux-based PCs with AMD GPUs. Open the extracted Optiscaler Mod folder. Copy the highlighted files, same as before. This game supports Streamline version newer than version 2. Also supports DLSS frame generation. Same method will work. Copy. But we also need to use DXVK's embedded spoofing mechanism to unlock the in-game DLSS settings. It's the Steam version of the game. Select the game in your Steam library, right click, manage, click on browse local files. Open SW game folder, binaries folder, Win64 folder, paste everything here. 8 items. Now I'll show you how to use DXVK's embedded spoofing mechanism. In this directory, create a new text file. Right click, create new text file. Name it as DXVK. Change the extension from .txt to .conf. It's a configuration file. OK. I've already shared this method in my FSR frame generation mod guide for Jedi Survivor on SteamDeck. Copy these lines from here. I'll provide them in the description of the video. You can copy them from here. Now just select the dxvk.conf file that we just created. Right click, open with any text editor. I'll use kwrite. Paste the lines here. Click on save, close. That's it. Don't need to use any launch option. I'm using G Proton version 10-12 as the compatibility layer. Switch to SteamOS game mode. Launch the game. EA app is starting. It's required even for the Steam version of the game. In-game settings, display mode set to windowed full screen, required for using XeSS frame gen, 800p resolution. Using the loop graphics preset, VSync is off. Ray tracing disabled. We have access to DLSSG upscaler. I am using the upscaler's balance preset. Post processing effects disabled. Performance VM settings. Disable SteamOS freezing by enabling disable frame limit and law tearing settings. Performance overlay level 3. Once the game loads up, just pause it. Now open the mod menu, press the insert key. Make sure upscaler is set to XeSS, input DLSS, DXVK spoofing is on, auto explorer setting is on. First I'll play the game without frame generation. Click on save and close. There's Cal. Planet Kobe is one of the most demanding areas in this game. Here FPS stays within a range of 20 to 35 depending on the action going on. See, 24 FPS there for a second. Game suffers from traversal stutters. Uses Unreal Engine 4. And this thing lunged at me. Okay, now I'll enable Optiscaler XeSS frame gen. Oh my god. Open the mod menu. Okay, need to pause the game first, otherwise you won't be able to access Optiscaler mod settings. Yeah, just click on the drop down bar next to FG source and select DLSSG via Streamline. Click on the drop down bar next to FG output and select XeFG. Just click on save INI here. Close, restart the game. Then we need to enable the in-game DLSS frame generation setting. Exit. Play. Visual settings. Yeah, we have access to NVIDIA frame generation now. On. Open performance QM settings. Enable manual GPU clock speed settings. Set the speed to 1400 MHz. After jumping into the game, pause it. Open Optiscaler menu. Check the setting active under frame generation XeFG. Enable debug view. These purple sidebars should appear. They are flickering here. Uncheck it. Save INI. There's Cal. FPS here is within a range of 45 to 50. Can observe the right amount of smoothness and look at the animation quality. Smoothing effect is very consistent. Not observing any ghosting around Cal's character model. I am observing some latency as expected. It's due to the base FPS. It's within a range of 25 to 30. Traversal stutter here. Just observe Cal's lightsaber. Yeah, there is some ghosting around it during fast visual motion. Flickering intensity is more aggressive in the case of FSR frame generation. Talking about the lightsabers. So minor graphical artifacts are present when using XeSS frame gen. It's possible that you may not observe this ghosting effect if the base FPS is on the higher side. Running the game on a more powerful PC. It's not possible on SteamDeck. They are fighting among themselves. Button latency. You can play this game on SteamDeck using GeForce Now. Personally, I don't recommend playing it natively on tech. Game will run on NVIDIA's powerful remote PCs, servers, stream to our device via the internet. You may observe some latency, but it will be lower than XeSS frame gen's latency. That's it with the video, guys. I hope you find it useful. Thanks for watching and have a nice day.